All right, Mr. Lamb, how you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
So I got a few questions here today about entrepreneurship. I'm just gonna get right to it. For you, what does it mean to be a successful entrepreneur?
To be an entrepreneur is a person who never stops thinking about ways of doing things differently than the norm. Entrepreneurship takes extra effort. It usually takes someone who has little fear of what they don't know. The key in any business is not to fear the unknown, but to be inquisitive, to investigate, to use critical thinking to get to the answers, the recommendations, the options, and be ready to execute.
Perfect. And you got anything else?
The person who is an entrepreneur works well with others, but does not follow everyone, and is always looking at not only a better way to skin a cat, but the use of the time and the effort that is very focused on an end result.
Cool. I like that analogy. My next question is, I'm taking this entrepreneurship class right now, and I was wondering, what are the things you think that, you'd recommend, should be taught in a course like this?
That's a great question. First of all, life skills. Life skills are everything from financial analysis to budgeting to understanding in finance and in business what the numbers mean. I have seen significant numbers of failures in businesses because they might be good at what they do, but they're not good business people. What many people who've been successful have achieved is that they're good at what they do, but they learn their business metrics better than everyone else. And they're able to stay focused on their metrics. Metrics being profit, overhead, the cost of goods sold, and know exactly what those relationships are, who their market is, and they stay laser focused on how to execute with efficiencies. One of the major things that entrepreneurs need to be taught is how to take a budget of something that has yet to be produced and how to manage a pro forma from a estimate to reality and track it and control it. And that they should back into the solutions. The first solution is, what is my profit that should be made? What is my profit that a reasonable person in this risk should take home as a return on the capital expended, the return on investment? And then you should take that number based upon the market price cost to move the good or to build a building or to sell a car. Subtract the profit you should make, and that tells you what the cost is to produce. That cost then is reduced by overhead and it's reduced by the actual work or the cost of the good. And when you work backwards, you always get the answers that you're looking for. If you always take cost and then you add profit, you take the risk that you're not market saleable. And many people who aren't taught early on how to back into solutions and think in reverse end up with goods that they can't sell. They end up being outside of the marketplace and end up failing.
Mm-hmm.
The course should be able to stay very focused on critical thinking and analysis, and should remind you that a true entrepreneur doesn't work from 8 to 5. Many young people believe that if I put in my 40 hours and I work far smarter, faster, and efficiently, then I shouldn't have to work more than 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any entrepreneurs who agree with that. It takes more effort, more time, more thought, more analysis, and extra effort to beat the competition.
Right. It's a great answer. My final question for you is, what's something that you've learned, being in the real world, that you didn't learn, in school, in the courses you took, when you were in college?
That's huge. Like many majors, they teach you how to think. They teach you a lot about the field that you're going into.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't do is they don't mix reality with that information. For example, many kids who come out of school don't know what a mortgage is. They don't know what a purchase and sale contract to buy their first home or their first business or their first office building looks like. They don't know that principal and interest, what does it mean? How do I budget that in my life? How do the expenses that add to it? How do I manage my checking account? How do I save for my retirement in my future? Mm-hmm. Most people at 20 years old have never taken a savings calculator in the computer and looked at what happens when you save $50 to $100 a month for the rest of your life until you retire at 65 with compounding interest, to realize that if they have a paper route when they're young and when they get their first job, and if they put $25 a week away, that they'll become multimillionaires and have security and feel very satisfied that they've been able to build a nest egg, because the difference in time is substantial. Compounding interest at $200 a month, you'd have to look this up, until the age of 65 will make you a millionaire when you retire. That's without doing anything but putting $200 a month in a savings account, earning 6% interest, and you can run those numbers. But my point is this: you've got to live for tomorrow, not just for today. Mm-hmm. It takes all of this entrepreneurship and true net worth is different than a high wage earner. Net worth in an individual is different than a high wage earner. If you read The Millionaire Next Door, you'll get the philosophy. It's a mentality. The mentality is very different. There's a lot of willpower. There's a lot of restraint and control that a true high net worth individual has than a high wage earner, because many high wage earners don't have a dollar in their checking account. Mm-hmm. There are physicians who make $1 million a year and have no money. Mm-hmm. They borrow money, they spend the money, and they don't plan ahead for the future or being sick or anything. There are folks who make much less money, who are much wiser, more show restraint, who after a period of years become significantly better off. And entrepreneurs are willing to invest in dollars today for the future, and are not interested usually in the quick hit. They're not looking for the pot of gold. They're looking for what I always uses, instead of home runs, it's base hits. It's a double every once in a while, and base hits. And so we're not searching for the home runs. They come every once in a while, like Steve Jobs and Apple, and you've heard about Bill Gates and Microsoft. Well, those come every once in a blue moon for some of those fortunate people. But the majority of us who are out there as entrepreneurs have to keep their nose to the grindstone, stay focused on their objectives, and have to be very frugal with their expenses. And when I always use this analogy, in life, between making an income within paying taxes, paying for mortgages, everything is 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, and 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. And you hope that every time there's that 1 step forward, that those start to add up to, over time, success, both monetary, business, and personal. And lastly, in entrepreneurship, it's a balanced lifestyle. Many entrepreneurs know how to balance physical health with mental health, with then business focus and health. And they have learned how to prioritize their time to stay focused on their goals, because it's easy to be distracted with iPhones and iPads and such. And quite honestly, a lot of that is a waste of valuable time. So what the college can do is bring you back to the basics. Save for the future. Be frugal. You're not going to get home runs. Learn how to make base hits and watch your pennies, and stay focused on your goals. And quite honestly, lastly, and I'll close with this, if you do what you love, and it's not about making money, it's not about just getting a degree to make your parents happy, or you feel like you've got a diploma on the wall. If you're truly doing what you love, every day will not be fun, but it's not about the money. Most entrepreneurs never count the pennies. They never look at their bank accounts. They never study their stock reports. They do what they do best. And if you do what you love, the money will come. The money will follow.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.